Make Comrade show way. Comrade Lante Oriake. Live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Make Comrade show way. Comrade Lante Oriake. Live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. Comrade show way. Comrade Lante Oriake. Live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show.
Yes, hello, and a very good evening to you, Edo people and Nigerians across the world. Of course, it's evening where I am. It might be morning or afternoon where you are, but whatever it is, I want to salute you and welcome you to this program. This is the Comrade Show, and of course, this is the segment we call the Comrade and Friends. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Supreme Court judgment on the Edo governorship election of last year, wherein the governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin Obaseki, was once again, as a matter of fact, for the final time, vindicated as he was victorious at that level. And what that does is that his continuity as the governor of Edo State till 2024 is no longer in doubt, because we are not expecting any more court case, as it were. The Comrade and Friends want to take a look at the meaning of this victory, what it means for Edo State, what it means for the governor, what it means for the people of Edo State, for the politics of Edo State, for the economy of Edo State. And of course, as always, I have the team of the Comrade Show, the Musketeers, I call them. They are with us. And of course, we equally have some other members, associates, comrades of the Comrade Show who are with us to help us do some justice to this particular subject matter. Please, if you are joining us, don't hesitate to quickly help us share this broadcast. Let's get some numbers together. And before we go zero in straight into the matter of the day. Meanwhile, as we are going into that, let me quickly introduce to you the guys that I have in the house who are going to help us do justice to this. I'm going to introduce the comrades, the Musketeers last, because I have some other very erudite personalities in the house. But I'll start with the only lady we have in the house, who herself is an associate musketeer, whom, of course, is a very well-known, name to Edo people and Nigerians because of activity all around. I have in the house, and it's my honor to introduce to you associate comrade Loretta Ogboroko. She's a doctor, by the way, but she doesn't like title too much. Loretta, please say hello to the people.
Comrade Lamte Oriahi and the proper musketeers, as well as our father in the house and our high chief in the house. It's a privilege to be here today, but more so our viewers at home. Without you, there is no us. Without you, there is nothing that can happen here. So it is to you we owe all the greetings today, and I say, well done to everyone.
Yes, she's looking very elegant, but don't be carried away. She's all brain and beauty. Right in the house, I equally have, our daddy. This is my own godfather, a very erudite personality, one who, as a matter of fact, needs no introduction. But for the sake of this program, let me quickly bring on our dad in the house, and it's not other but His Excellency. For the sake of this program, still is I will call him a comrade, Comrade Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo. Daddy Biki, please say hello to the people.
Waya bebe ne den kai o ogogo maje ogogo waya miebe dagunwa o. I'm happy to be here, Comrade Lamte, in this program. And I send my greetings also to all Edolites in the diaspora and at home. And I especially wish to say I'm happy to be associated with the Comrade Show and to have Dr. Agbons, Iremira, and High Chief Musa Amedu from Esan Land present in this program. Waya Bokian, Waya Bido level. Thank you all. And finally, all the viewers, Waya Weseo. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Daddy Biki. Thank you so very much. Well, while I was taking my time to try to, gradually analyze the matter by way of introduction, Daddy has helped you guys, helped every one of us to let everybody know the members of the team. Well, still in the same order, I have in the house, yes, for the sake of this program, this is a Comrade and Friends. I have in the house, he's High Chief Musa Amedu, but for the sake of this program, he's Comrade High Chief Musa Amedu. High Chief, please say hello to the people, sir. High Chief, your mic is muted.
Sorry about that. Hello, people. Thank you, viewers, for watching this program. It's one of those credible voice of Edo people worldwide. I'm happy to be part of it. Greetings to Madam Loretta, Dr. Agbons, Austin Remira, our father Biki, and our good brother, sincere brother that has good intention to move us forward in respect of Edo matter, Comrade Lamte. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, and we are glad and very humble to have you here. Of course, I want to go straight now to the coco in the house, the Musketeers. They are the Musketeers. And of course, I have one of the first Musketeer, Comrade Dr. Tony Agbons in the house. Dr. Agbons, please.
Yeah, our people, I want to greet all of you, wherever you are watching us in the world. Wahia, Wabeva, Wabedizola. I greet all of you in the spirit of the joy and the onyeme we are all having in our hearts today. So I join my brother, Comrade Lamte Ikpomusa Oriahi, my sister, Dr. Loretta Oduware Ogboroko, our father here, Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo, and our highly respected High Chief Musa Amedu, and my brother, Pharmacist Austin Iremira, to welcome you all to this glorious, celebratory, triumphant edition of the Comrade Show. I greet all of you, our people.
Yes, this is a huge package. Thank you very much, Dr. Agbons. We equally have, the last but not the least, the Musketeer, the one who has named this program the Sunday Tonic. Of course, you know him. He's Comrade, Pharmacist Austin Iremira. Pharmacist Iremira, please.
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. God bless you for that wonderful introduction. To our viewers, we say thank you for joining us. Please remember to share the program. I think this is going to be very great because we have a handful of very important people helping us to do justice with Dr. Loretta Ogboroko and our two legal luminary and also Dr. Agbons. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. And all of you are welcome once again to our Sunday Talk.
Without much ado, we go straight to the program. Daddy Biki, Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo. Yesterday, day before yesterday, Edo State has been in a state of ecstasy. Happiness everywhere, joy everywhere. The reason being that the Supreme Court of Nigeria affirmed that the governor of Edo State is legitimately elected and that there is no comma in the certificate. And the victory is the governor's and that of the Edo people. Sir, how did you receive that message?
I must be frank with you, my brother. Thank you for having me once again. I must be frank with you that I received it with joy, boundless joy, because all ghosts and all propagandas and all lies have been shown for what they are, and the issue has been put to rest. Yesterday, the Supreme Court did the justice to the whole matter, and the justices led by Justice Sunday Ada upheld the testimony of the Deputy Registrar of University of Ibadan, Abiodun, Mr. Abayomi Ajayi, who had earlier, before the trial court, that is before the High Court at the trial stage, said that Obaseki attended the University of Ibadan and fulfilled all the requirements for admission into the Department of Classical Studies. So for me, yesterday was a big day. Before I go into details, I wouldn't want to monopolize the conversation. For me, it's a great day. It's a wonderful day. I'm still in the euphoria of that day, even though it's Thursday 3 days ago. So I will leave the floor for others to speak. Then I will now try to dissect and analyze the judgment. But just for the history books, I need to say quickly here that for me, I was never perturbed about this judgment, because in all my subsequent videos on the subject matter, starting from my video on October 12th, October 23rd, November 12th, November 23rd, December 5, December 15, December 23, and my New Year message, I had mentioned that all the cases against Obaseki were like a storm in a teacup, the tiniest storm in the tiniest teacup. And that's what just happened. So I will leave the floor to the other speakers before I go ahead and say how we arrived at this judgment. Thank you.
The storm in a teacup. Chief Musa Amedu, how much do you agree with that? Please, can you unmute yourself, sir?
Sorry about that. 100%. I agree with His Excellency Biki, because whoever understands those states and the Benin culture, we know that certain kind of people don't start a battle they will not conclude or finish. Having said that, it's a case that should not have come up in the first place, because if you take that ticket from Obaseki against the wish of Edo people, number one, there would not have been peace in Edo State. You would not have been able to get their consent or have their consent to say you are not the governor, you are ruling. What has happened is a manifestation of what you get when you do things out of anger or carelessness. It is carelessness to have brought that action, because the margin to cover, to not declare victory for another candidate who is not Obaseki is very wide. There was no way you would cover that. Then you move on to the next item. If it is true you want to govern Edo State, or you want to put Edo State in order, with all the victory coming on, with all the margin of acceptance, do you need to proceed? I would say no. The Supreme Court judgment only reassures us that with God, all things are very possible. And I think Obaseki must take the credit himself and Shaibu, because the distraction was just too much. The party is doing their own on one hand, political opponent doing their own on the other hand. The people are not expecting the dividend of democracy. They are not getting it. And it was all choked up. But I'm happy that a Daniel has come to judge. And never again, I'm sure, in our time, in our state, will this sort of rubbish happen. It is rubbish, because you are undermining the wish of the real Edo people. And I just think that we should learn a lesson from this, that to govern people is not at all cost. It's God. If God have approved you to become the person who will be the governor, nothing can obstruct it. And that's what Obaseki Shaibu case have just turned out to be. I wish every Edo person that participated, that did not even participate, who have witnessed this occasion to say congratulations to Obaseki and Shaibu and to all Edo people worldwide. I'll stop at that.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to quickly go to my sister, Dr. Loretta Oboroko. Dr. Loretta, in your own opinion, what do you think this judgment mean, for Edo State and Edo people?
Thank you, Comrade, and very well said. His Excellency, Ambassador Matthew BQI, for our own High Chief Musa Medu. Thank you for laying the template for me to actually stand on the shoulders of giants and elucidate what I have to say. I think the truth is the world is always waiting and watching, waiting to hear an authentic voice from God. And this is irrespective of the religion or the beliefs. So across all religions, the world is waiting to hear and to see that authentic voice from God. But you see, that simply means that the world is waiting for the world. It means, simply put, that the people are waiting for their own collective voice. And that means that the mandate of the people should never be trivialized, because the voice of the people is the voice of God. And like High Chief said, this should not have even arisen in the first place. However, in hindsight, I was actually glad that it arose, because it simply means that we have passed the voice of the people through thick and thin. We've passed it through iron, we've passed it through everything, and it has come back and it is sealed and signed that the mandate of the people is valid. I was very happy, as we had very many people. And like the ambassador said, I was never perturbed. I wasn't flustered. I just felt when the people have spoken, and they've spoken in a collective manner, there's not much that can change it. It is difficult for it to be changed. And we've seen that replayed over and over in history, not just even in Edo State. And Edo State is a testament of history. So by and large, I would say it should be healing period moving forward. People who have felt aggrieved should sort of put that to the side, and then look for a collective way to move the entire populace, Edo State, forward, so that he who fights and doesn't win can also live to fight another day.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly go to Austin Iremira. Austin, looking at this judgment and looking at politics in Edo State, particularly from the perspective of the internal wranglings in the PDP, how do you think this judgment is going to help stabilize things as far as the politics of Edo State is concerned?
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte, for that question. Let me join my other speakers to congratulate the governor and his team and Edo State in general for the victory yesterday. I watched a video yesterday and 3 people spoke. First was the PDP present chairman, Mr. Azi. I think one Pascal Bome was also in that video and some other ones. And while I was listening, that reflection came to me, because the PDP chairman spoke in strong affirmation and a very great belief that this victory is now true. They can now work together to deliver Edo State. I was very happy. And what I said at the end of that video to myself was that, can this now be transformed to reality? Like Ambassador Matthew Biki hinted, apart from this going on, the internal wrangling of the PDP is still on. And the governor is known to win and win battles. But the battle of the party is not just victory, it should be something collective. So I want to believe that this reassurance now will sort of awaken the spirit of those who are hitherto before now, not very happy with what is going on, and the need for us to work together. Given the fact that the governor was sworn in November, time is fast spent, we are approaching almost the 6th month now, there is need for that deliverable, which the Edo State people believed and supported the governor to come to pass. And like the deputy governor would always say, we pepper them. I want us to pepper everybody with good governance. And good governance can only start when everybody work together. So just to answer your question squarely, I think this will give a renewed hope, and I believe PDP, we have no choice but to support the governor so that everything will start working and working properly.
Thank you. Dr. Agbons, in the spirit of good governance, talked about mentioned by Iremira. Of course, we are aware that even while, there's this euphoria in the air and a lot of people are happy over this judgment. Of course, we are aware that we have a number of persons too who have expressed, disenchantment over aspects of governance in Edo State, particularly the aspect that has to do with, appointments. Do you think that this judgment situates the governor in a good position to go ahead and name his cabinet?
Thank you very much, my brother, Comrade Lamte Oriahi. I want to join other speakers on this floor to congratulate the Edo State governor and his deputy on this very well-deserved victory. Without sounding repetitive, I want to say here that it is high time we change the way we do things, not just in Edo State, but in Nigeria. There's a common saying said we should be magnanimous in victory and then we should be gallant in defeat. People should learn to accept defeat. To be honest, and I told a few friends when this election victory, in fact, it was even your show, Lanting, that I even got to know. And my wife was playing your program. I was like, was there a case in the Supreme Court? Because I didn't even know that there was a case in the Supreme Court. So, and to be honest, like we say now in Nigerian parlance, all this court matter is joke. So you can imagine what the governor has been going through all this while. Because when you have, look, people, we may want to just maybe say this for saying sake. When you have a case in the court, you can ask anybody who have had a case in any court. My brother, have you ever sung? You can't whisk it away. If I translate that, you can sleep. Because one pronouncement from a judge, that is it. So this victory for me is monumental. It's a huge victory for the nearly 5 million people of Edo State. It is huge. And I believe that finally the lubrication of governance is going to start flowing. Because now there will be clarity, there will be level-headedness. And I like just to attack the question you have asked me, Comrade Oriahi, now we will see governance because all these weight and load that His Excellency has been carrying, they are all off his shoulder. He's human. For me, I didn't even know there was a case in the Supreme Court. So people should learn to accept defeat. Pick your phone and make a call. Oh, my brother, congratulations, you have won this election. Even after the Court of Appeal, congratulate. It is never too late. So, but I want to join the mass of Edo people who have given their mandate to this governor. Congratulate everybody.
Thank you very much. I want to join our people on Facebook. If you are watching on Facebook and YouTube, please share. Nosa Igbineweka, I see you. Igbina Kenzua. Bobby Obayiwan, I see you. George Amez, I see you. Ida Iwo, I see you. Paul Edo, thank you very much for joining us. Stella, you've shared. Stella Ehiorai, thank you so very much. I know we probably have a number of persons watching us on YouTube. I can see Buki. I can see Joel Sars. I can see Meru. Thank you very much, guys. Please help share the broadcast. Let's get more numbers together. I'm going to go into an aspect of this which only Ambassador Matthew BK can talk about. That is the truth of the matter. The victory we just saw, everybody's happy, but a lot did happen underground. And of course, I want to throw this to Daddy BK. Ambassador, sir, can you let us into some of those things that where you can let us into, even though they are classified, so that we begin to understand where we are coming from as far as this judgment is concerned. Ambassador Matthew Biki Waifusa.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Comrade Lamte Oriaki. I wanted to call you Ambassador Oriaki.
Daddy, as a matter of fact, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you. It is the Spirit of God.
Ambassador for Benin and Edo State worldwide. So I don't think I was making a mistake. Anyway, my brother, the thing is, I was not phased at all. And today, I'm a fulfilled man and I have every right to bloat because, like I mentioned the dates, in so many of my videos, I had said the case was a storm in a teacup. And I had equally mentioned that, you know, this whole case, the way it is, that no court in the whole universe will judge against Obaseki. Now, to go to the question that you said, I will tell you that of all the cases, of all the things, the cases that were brought into the Supreme Court, the facts were very clear. Number one, I was very, very confident that the Supreme Court can never judge against Obaseki. One, the Lord spoke to me at every interval that Obaseki, even before he was born, like Jeremiah, was divinely appointed to bring Edo State out of poverty, ignorance, looting of the treasury, akberoism, kidnapping, and bad governance. Before he was born, he was already destined. And Obaseki carries a grace. The grace that I have been able to identify is that of being a Teflon. We know a Teflon is a material that no matter what you put on it, it will not stick. So I decided to tap into that grace. And the Lord used to speak to me. That's why I said categorically, when the case was very tough, and the judge said that December he was going to hear the case and everybody was going in a frenzy, I told them that it was a storm in a teacup. So what I want to tell you is this. Normally, in every political system, in every justice system, there are underground actors and out-of-state actors. And because Obaseki had won in the High Court in Abuja, won in the appeals court, they felt that this was the last chance. They had to put every pressure that they could get on the head of state to make sure that Edo becomes Imo. But glory be to God, Edo not be Imo. It could not be Imo. Despite all the pressure that was put on the president, which I will not reveal here because this is a public forum and those things are classified. But despite all the pressures by political actors whom we know, and among those who want to be president of Nigeria and those who are doing their bidding, despite all the pressure, the president stood his ground with what he said in October 10, 2020, that he will not allow political gladiators, aggressionists, to truncate the will of the Edo people and using their influence to overturn, using a compromised judiciary to overturn a case which he has marked to be one of the legacies of his regime. In the appeal court, he stood by that. And in this Supreme Court, without revealing issues, I must tell everybody, this case was not easy because it was the last case. So every weapon in the arsenal of the opposition was used to turn this case against Governor Godwin Nogegase of Obaseki. But I must tell every people, whom God has blessed, no one can curse. No weapons raised against this regime can succeed. So the president refused to interfere into the matter and said it must be a judicial process. He will not interfere. He has made a promise and is keeping his promise. So while I oppose Buhari with the way he's running the Nigerian government and the way that he's sleeping over some issues and not taking actions on some issues, I wish to say on this program right now that I throw all that aside and give kudos to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria because he stood by his word. And I'm praying to God that the way he has stood by Edo people and his promise to Edo people, that he himself will start with his promises to Nigerians that he made during the election to have a better Nigeria, because it was not easy. I cannot go into details. I cannot mention names. I'm banned by the official oaths of secrecy. But all those who are intelligent enough will know what I'm talking about. But let me tell you also why the president could not give a contrary opinion. It is so simple. The Supreme Court does not overturn concurrent findings of two lower courts. Remember, the Court of Tribunal dismissed the case and said it had no merit, and the Court of Appeal dismissed the case. So the Supreme Court does not overturn concurrent findings of two lower courts, the Tribunal and the Appeal, except the appellant can show that the judgments of the lower court were perverse. By perverse, I mean they gave their judgment and acted outside of the evidence. And this was not the case. The evidence was clear that this was a machination by the opposition, not only to deride, blackmail, blackstab, propaganda, and all other issues against the government of Governor Godwin Obaseki, against his personality, to defame his character. That is all it was. And then to make the Edo people have bad ill will against the government. That was all it was about. And the God, who is a God above all gods, who is the only God I know that attaches all to his name, he has said God must win. And that is why we won this case. But I'm telling you, we are all rejoicing. It was not easy. The governor himself had to do his homework. And all other people too in the background had to do their homework. This is the result of teamwork. So I congratulate the governor. I congratulate the deputy governor, the SSGO, Saro Ogie, because of the part they play in bringing about this victory. And moreover, I congratulate the PDP. And to tell you the truth, the argument in the PDP, I see it as a storm in a teacup. Don't forget, the PDP is a party. They have a way of settling their own issues through dialogue, according to the party constitution. So I don't even count the argument and disagreements as anything, because they will reconcile. I think now the governor has a chance to start implementing the mega agenda. Because like Dr. Agbon said, if you have a case in court, my friend, how can you go and start appointing commissioners and all that and so on, when in case you don't know the outcome? That would have been a sign as if you have bought over the judiciary, like Oshomole and Tinubu used to vote, that they have the judiciary in the pocket. But today, I am so happy, I'm full of joy, because we have been told it's not the matter of degrees that you have that make you to be a sensible human being. Professor Ayuba has his tail between his legs and all those who disqualified Obaseki. And Edo State has shown the world that yes, we are a kingdom of over 2,500 years old, and we have our onions. And to crown it all, Umagbane, glory be to God. So there were a lot of work underground, and there were a lot of issues. But the most important thing, victory has been secured in the name of the Lord. If God be for us, no one can ever be against us. Glory be to God. Thank you for listening
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador. No one could actually, put it better than you would. Apparently, we know that a lot did go on. But I want to quickly go on to Dr. Loretta. Loretta, the question I want to ask you is this. Looking at what happened in Imo, till today, people are still expressing disgust over the Supreme Court judgment on Imo that brought a man who was fourth position and made him become the governor of Edo State. The governor of Imo State. Looking at that and the doubts, that process created in the minds of, Nigerians, and juxtaposing that against what has now happened in the case of Edo State, how would you rate the judiciary? Does this restore confidence in the people? Loretta.
I'll just answer straight and say this current victory that has been granted by the Supreme Court has raised the confidence people have in Nigerian judiciary. It has not only raised that of the external people, but it has also raised the confidence the judiciary has in itself. So you have a process, and you have those within the process, and you have those outside of the process. So what I'm trying to say is that not only are those outside of the process, i.e. other Nigerians and the Edo State citizenry across the world, now more confident in the judiciary itself in Nigeria has restored confidence within its own members and itself. And we have something to thank for this. When you juxtapose the situation in Imo with what happened in Edo, people have tried to proffer all sorts of reasons why the outcome have happened in different ways. But one thing I have found, critically analyzing it, is the difference in the vibrancy and the engagement of the populace. Many of us have said it, and the ambassador has reiterated it again today. The vibrancy of the Edo State populace across the world, the awakening of Edo State followership is second to none. Edo State followership is not only remapping democracy in Edo State, but across the country as a whole. So that if you had there's what you call situational awareness and emotional intelligence. So that even if you had looked at this within context, and you as a Supreme Court judge had even as much had been tempted to pervert the course of justice, you would know that this would have ripped the very fabric of our nationhood apart. And I commend Mr. President of the country for seeing this, despite maybe his other tunnel vision in other areas. But he saw this and he made sure that justice reigns supreme. The same thing with all those who ensured that justice reigns supreme. So, on the final analysis, what we should all take away from this, even though we just keep saying jokingly, I don't know be Imo, I don't know be Imo, is that every state within Nigeria needs to wake up. Everybody needs to know that they can engage with governance, not just at a superfluous level, but at granular level, because it is when the followership is awake and engaging that you can actually make a difference. I apologize. My phone is, the landline has gone off. I apologize to the audience. But what I'm trying to say is the market woman on the street, we saw people being carried on their back, on their children's back to go and cast their vote. And I said it before, this is the mandate of the people. So there's no way it could have been thwarted. That is the main difference. And it is this mandate of the people that has reposed confidence in the judiciary by proxy. because they cannot undo that mandate. And because the people of Edo State are very, very engaging. So yes, we now have better confidence moving forward in our judiciary. Yes, the judiciary itself now has better confidence in itself. And we thank Mr. President and all those who saw that the fabric of Nigeria's nationhood still needs to be preserved.
Thank you very much. The fabric of Nigerian nationhood still needs to be preserved. Now, looking at this judgment, High Chief Musa Ahmedu, definitely what we can speak to is that this judgment consolidates a lot of things, stabilizes a lot of things as far as Edo State is concerned. High Chief Musa Ahmedu, if you were the governor of Edo State, given this judgment, how would you advise or how would you handle Edo State? Or in other words, as a man who's an astute politician himself, a great leader, one who knows what governance is and who's a strong follower of the governor of Edo State, given this judgment, how would you advise the governor going forward?
First, thank you very much. If I was an advisor to the first officer of Edo State, first thing I want to do is to call a meeting of the party and tell them we need to review our position in respect of outstanding matters. Moving from there, let's go into a state of give and take so that you have a robust environment to work with people who are the same party members with you, and review the issue of those people who followed you into PDP. And that means is that you don't need to start looking at the victor, how do I put it? You don't need to look for a loser. You look for a robust environment because the equation has changed completely. It will never be the same again because the diasporas, they have a voice, and that voice carries a lot of economic weight. So what that implies in reality is Obaseki Shaibu is still the winner, but they need to take one step back and review everything on their table, and the outcome will be wonderful for Edo people. On the opposition side, all they need to do is quickly put their house in order and send a congratulatory message to His Excellency for winning a very good battle. Even when they were not supposed to find themselves in that position, they've just found themselves go all the way to Supreme Court. They have a lot of learned mind there. They knows what to do. The issue on Ghana is about Edo people. They voted. The Supreme Court has reaffirmed that victory. No other thing should be on the table other than PDP actually joining Obaseki to govern Edo State for the benefit of every person. And the issue of internal party wrangling should be put to rest, because if you fail to put that to rest, don't forget the victory is only wonderful because APC were insider. If insider and PDP have to engage in a battle, the story will be different. They should not engage themselves with a certain agenda or anything. They should engage themselves with the dividend of democracy. The combination of Shaibu Obaseki can do so much in Edo State. Things are changing. Now, everybody is now being carried along in what is happening. And I think it never happened before. It really has never happened. Now, the internet have made things a lot easier that we can see what is happening in Edo State without going to Edo State. And I also noticed when I went to Benin the last time, the government is underreported. So their handlers need to go back and do a proper job and tell us and show us what is happening in Edo State, because Edo State is underreported. I repeat it, underreported. I drove around Benin City, I saw so much, and just look at what is happening. They've done everything to malign what is good about Edo State. But now that this Supreme Court victory has reawakened the consciousness of everyone, I would say, Philip Shaibu, Obaseki, carry on with your job. Take the party as your party. Allow nobody to sway you any direction and work for us. We. It is we that counts now, not opposition party. And if you look at it from that way, the issue that is resolved now is a better way. There is no need for people to be thinking what is going to happen next. What is going to happen next in Edo State is a march forward, backward never. It's going to be fine. But the PDP must be very serious about governance. If they don't do that, then they will have more drawback, but not on part of the governor or his deputy. No, I'm not thinking along that line. I'm thinking along the line of what happened in Edo State from now on. Supreme Court, after that, what next? Nothing. It should be governors, governors, governors. And they should learn to tell us what they have done. We don't need to open a research institute to start finding out what the government is doing. They should put it in the public. Their handlers should tell the truth. You see, the problem with politics is when you lie to your people, you lose credibility, and it affects the leadership structure. It does not belong to one person when you talk about politics. It's not one man show. It's a collective effort. Just look at what has happened. The governor, after election, came back and said, thank you, people. Thank you for supporting me. It has never happened in Edo State before. For me, I'm really happy. Look at, I drove through Sapler Road the other day. I saw what the secretariat, and somebody sent me a postcard, and I said, where did you get this from? He said, oh, it's Benin. I said, which Benin? Which Benin are you talking about? What am I saying here is all the evidence to continue good governance is already there. Just not far, look at this Kenwan Road. They're doing the dualization. I'm not reading it in the media. It is only the media you can use to engage people. The governor should reposition his team to the point of educating people about what they are doing, and then we will be on the same wavelength at all time. We have passed all the stages of delay, suspense. There's no doubt what has happened at those days will make somebody to break down mentally, but he has not gone to that point. We thank God he has got the mental strength, and that is fine. And I think the tenure now should be about development, legacy, development, legacy. That is how I will look at it. And that is how I will
Thank you very much, High Chief Musa Amnedu. I'll quickly go to Austin Iremiran. Austin, now, from your own standpoint and looking at Edo State, we want to believe very strongly that Pastor Sagi Ezeyamu, for his tenacity, for his doggedness, he's a man who loves Edo State. And if we are looking at it from that angle, what do you think Ezeyamu's position should be right now on Edo State matter? How do you think Ezeyamu should begin to approach Edo State issues vis-a-vis the government of Edo State?
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte, for that. I'm going to answer that by taking us back to what happened last week. And I want to advise Ezeyamu to not do that. Professor Ayade said he was leaving PDP to APC because he wanted to support the governor to move his state forward. I think that is wrong. Pastor Ezeyamu, I don't expect him to leave APC to come and join PDP at the moment. I expect him to now galvanize all his supporters and say, oh, it is victory now for the governor. First, send a congratulatory message to the governor and tell the governor I'm ready and willing to support and work with you for the betterment of Edo State. Because if Edo State is good, it's good for all of us. If he has the dream and the vision to come back again as governor, he will not want to meet a state that is already bad. So he's working together now and trying to support the government for growth is what it should do. I like criticism, but I like positive criticism. So in that, the opposition should also give a good critique of the government's work. That will help the government to even do more. So he has a lot to do. He has to tell his supporters to cool down. Let us begin to see visible support, physically, spiritually, or otherwise. All forms of antagonism now that are not right should be put away. He should be seen to be very proactive. Just before the election, the governor attended his birthday party to show sign of solidarity. That should happen as well because we are first friends even before governance. And if you truly want Edo State to work, then you must support. Where the governor has done well, praise. And where he hasn't done well, criticize, but let your criticism be very constructive. He has no other choice anyway. If he doesn't do that, he's only putting himself in the position of irrelevance. And of course, that is not good for a man ambitious, wanting to do well for Edo State. So my advice to him, go back to Papa Oshomole. Yes, we fought a good fight. Unfortunately, we couldn't win. We are where we are. It's our state. Let our state and our state and our state be everything you can do. So he has nothing left anyway, but just to support the government.
Thank you very much. I mean, we have you know, a lot of participation on Facebook and on YouTube. From Felicia Boegbe, she says, you know, Obaseki has come to set matters straight regarding many things that needs to be put in order. You know, forward ever, backward never. Moses Dokbolo says, where he's referring to Izeyamu, he said he should leave Edo State alone. People just expressing their opinion on these matters. Of course, we have a number of them, you know, making, of course, Paul Edo, he said amen to the prayers of, you know, Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifu, that's on Facebook. On YouTube, we have Anthony Ajibola, who says Izeyamu and his group can keep their congratulatory calls to themselves. Governor Obaseki and the good people of Edo, you know, they have moved on already. Of course, this is in response to somebody who is saying that the right thing for the Izeyamu to be doing right now is to congratulate the governor of Edo State. And of course, we equally have a Favor Osawaru, who is holding that opinion very strongly. So these are, you know, participants on Facebook and on YouTube. Dr. Agbons, this matter, this governorship matter, you know, the Izeyamu and the Obaseki's camps, you know, we've had a lot of issues, so to speak, great division because of this election. Even rights on social media, huge division, you know, so many of our young people are greatly divided along the lines of, you know, their support base, as it were. Given that Supreme Court has now laid this matter finally to rest, how would you advise, you know, all parties, okay, who are still, you know, strained because of the outcome of the election? And of course, what would your advice be going forward to the supporters?
Thank you, my brother, Comrade Lamte. Like I said before, it gets to a point where you know that, oh, look, my friend, the game is up now. I give up. To that, our viewer on YouTube who have said they can keep their congratulatory message to themselves. I can feel you, my brother, who said that, but it goes a long way in deepening our democratic values. So my advice to the camp that have lost, to Pastor Izeyamu and the others who have lost the election, they should pick the phone and make that congratulatory message. If that's too difficult, send a text message, because I know these people at the top of politics, they know how they communicate with each other. It goes a long way to calm nerves. It goes a long way. At the level where we are now, like High Chief Musa Ahmedi was saying, and even Austin have said it as well, we need to close ranks. Look, at the end of the day, what is governance? Governance is an application of a system that determines the happiness of the majority and not a few. That is my own basic definition of governance. You make the mass of the people happy. That is what governance is. You are contesting an election, you want to bring happiness for the people. Somebody else is contesting an election, wants to bring happiness to. So if one person gets there, then we all support. That is the essence of governance. That is what is done in other societies that are progressing, that are moving forward. So why must it be that our own must be different? Because what we have been hearing and the signals we have been getting is that, oh, we will make the state ungovernable for this government. It's not good. It's not good. Some of them may not have come out publicly to say it, but their body language, that is what it says. So we need to close rank. And like, I think it's High Chief Ahmedu that said it, the APC in Edo State now can be a vibrant opposition. Can be. So where the governor is delivering, then you pour encomiums. But where he's faltering, then you criticize constructively. That is the essence of democracy. That is what representative democracy, that is what differentiates a democratic government from the military government. So we need to Maybe because we were under military rule for a very long time, but that is a long time ago anyway, because 1999 to now is about 21 years. And children that were born in 1999, some of them have some very fast and smart ones. They've graduated from university. They are matured. So our democracy should reach a level where people lose elections, they should congratulate the losers, and then we move on. If there is no other example, there is the example of for our former president, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. That phone call he made to President Muhammadu Buhari calmed a lot of nerves, and it stopped Nigeria from going in flames. So people should borrow a leaf from there so that our state, Edo State, the only state we have, can move forward. And we move.
Thank you very much. I particularly like your definition where you said governance and application of a system that makes the majority happy and not a few. And that's a very smart one. I want to quickly go to Ambassador Matthew Beki-Wafu. Ambassador, sir, if Ezeyamu would not reach out to the governor to congratulate the governor, should the governor reach out to Ezeyamu? Ambassador Matthew Beki-Wafu.
Please, thank you very much and thank the other panelists for what they have said about those states. Let me tell you, the truth as somebody to be a fear for the governor at this stage to start approaching Ezeyamu, because Ezeyamu didn't bring a congratulatory message. The whole issue of all these court cases was to malign the governor with propaganda and backstabbing, like I've said before, and to make sure that Edo State was ungovernable. And the whole fight, my friend, we all seem to be forgetting and quoting all our talks in diplomatic language. Look, it is about opening the treasury for barely infrastructure people to rob our treasury and start living in self-aggrandizement like before. That is the whole issue. So, my dear brother, if I have to answer your question, I will say, Ezeyamu, Oshomole, they were seeking relevance by their court cases, and the court cases now has made them irrelevant. Whether the governor approach him, whether he gives a congratulatory message to the governor or not, Edo State is moving forward to the mega agenda. That is it. And the mega agenda now is what should occupy everybody. And the question on everybody's mind, both at home and in the diaspora, is simply this: what can I do for Edo State to move Edo State forward? And this is what I've been preaching. This Supreme Court judgment has put the nail on the coffin of all those detractors and troublers of Edo State. We need to move forward. So what I am saying here is this: congratulatory message is fine, but the governor cannot approach Ezeyamu for a congratulatory message. Otherwise, he will be making a political blunder. The opposition will interpret it as weakness. So for me right now, my dear brothers and sisters, I'm talking to you from Edo State. I'm here on a sabbatical from my ambassadorial job. And what I have noticed is that the people are hungry on the street. Edo State happens to be the most expensive state in the whole federation right now. Everything is unionized, from tomato sellers, fish sellers, suya sellers, keke nape, machine riders. Everything is unionized, and everything they add prices to the thing. For example, let me tell you, if you are going from Benin to Lagos, Edegbe, God is good motors and all that, they charge you exorbitant prices. I just give an example. And when I wanted to go to Lagos, we paid 7,850. And they went, that is for God is good on Akpakpava, and I stand to be quoted because I videoed it. They went and brought a vehicle that is supposed without AC. That's supposed to be 4,500. And we complained and complained, nothing happened. Now, we got to let transport companies for that vehicle are charging 4,500. Take it also. I went to Asaba for a function. In Benin, fuel was going for 190 naira. And in Asaba, it was going for 162. Edo and Asaba, which one is closer to Lagos, where the fuel are being brought? These are issues that should be addressed. Another issue is this. I'm sorry, and I will say it plainly. Right now, Edolites in Benin and its environs and so on are so used to living in chaotic and organized chaos and need discipline that they are not ready to change their way of life. And if you are not ready to change and do the same thing over and over again, you should not start from Edo people and Edo State. You see somebody driving left-hand drive on a right-hand drive road, and he will be the one to insult your father, your mother, and everything. You understand the point? And you see people, I can tell you, 85% that I've noticed on the ground are so dubious, and they are con men. The worker wants to dupe the man who is giving them jobs. The tomato seller wants to give you price that, everybody, most of the people, 85% are dubious. So we need to change our mindset. If we change.
Okay, we may be having
for
some.
Obaseki winning now, this one, they not put every shadow a day. It has equally right now given a level playing field for the governor to act. And like I'm saying, the disagreement in PDP, I'm not a PDP member, I'm not an APC member. I'm just a man with a passion for my state. Meanwhile, the thing in PDP will be resolved. The governor is aware that life is give and take. And I have absolute confidence in the governor that he knows what to do. And finally, please, let me quickly say this. For $8 in the diaspora, enough of the criticism, propaganda, and all that, we not take Edo State to anywhere. Come and invest in your state. I'm talking to you right now. Look behind me. I'm talking from my cassava farm. I planted this cassava when I came to Edo State in the first week of February. I will harvest them this year. I can take the camera around if you can see it. It's all full of cassava down there to where your eyes can see. And not only that, there are other products. Let's walk the talk. Let's stop pointing to Obaseki. The change starts from us. Let us help the state to change the state. Don't let us start imposing on Obaseki our own agenda. Our personal agendas is not state agenda. It's not masses agenda. Let's try and working in tandem with each other and committing each other pari passu, we can move the state forward. I am 100% confident because we have a listening governor that we can see that the governor is called. We start now. People will really wait and see. And it's for the interest of everybody that Obaseki should succeed. Though. It's for the interest of everybody. Myself, yourself, the total populace. We should never, ever think in our imagination that Obaseki should fail. It is not in the equation. The equation is simply A, success, B, success, C, success. And like High Chief Musa Amedu said, the party should get together, resolve this case, start moving forward because 2023 is not far away. And to say something else again, my support for Obaseki is not just as governor of Edo State. Obaseki is a national leader that can represent Edo correctly. And Obaseki is an international leader. So it's not only just about Edo State. If we make him succeed, he can bring kudos to Edo State because he has a passion for Edo State. So right now, elections is finished, court cases is finished. Israel Yamu, the proper thing to do is to congratulate the governor. I know his advisors and charlatans always advise him wrongly. But this is the time he should think for himself. Send a congratulatory message. It will help against your future ambitions. Send a congratulatory message. The more conciliatory, let us develop this state together. If you have a passion for Edo State, then you will not cause mayhem. Because in the end, my dear, poverty does not know anybody. It does not know any tribe. It does not know any religion. It does not know any ethnicity. Poverty is poverty. And Obaseki has been divinely appointed to take us from poverty. God bless you. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Matthew Beke Uwaifo. Thank you so very much. I want to tell you, Your Excellency, that in fact, almost everybody who is commenting agrees with you 100% that the governor should not reach out to anybody, and that the right person who is supposed to reach out to the governor of Edo State in the spirit of sportsmanship should be Ize Iyamu, and that the governor should focus on governance. That has been hugely echoed by a lot of our viewers on Facebook and on YouTube. Everybody is agreeing with you. People are, in fact, Stella Ehiorasis, well said, sir, good job on Facebook. Annabelle Usa said, nice one, lovely, with flowers to you, sir, while you were making all of these comments. Paul Edo says no to, what's his name, the governor reaching out to Ize Iyamu, and of course, he's giving you thumbs up for your deposition. We have all of them. He says thank you. That's Paul Edo. He says thank you to you. Sandra Samuel. He says Obaseki can handle Nigeria very well if he's given the opportunity to do so. These are, our viewers on Facebook, and we have them as well on YouTube. Equally, agreeing with you, hook, line, and sinker, sir. Anthony Ajibola agrees with you. Sydney Odia, is right there as well. Omoregbe Ugbefo, agrees with you. So Obaseki is a winner, and on all that, IK, Isabel, everybody agrees with you that the right person who is supposed to reach out to the governor of Edo State and to the people of Edo State should be Ize Iyamu. And so that is a majority motion moved, seconded, by the people of Edo State, particularly those connected to this platform right this very minute. Let me quickly call on High Chief Musa Amedu. High Chief. High Chief, are you still there with us, sir?
I'm loyal.
I greet you, sir. So I just want to ask you this, okay? At the end of the day, it's all about governance and about the people of Edo State. And of course, as rightly put by His Excellency Ambassador Matthew Beke Uwaifo, who is on ground, he has, of course, observed the level of hardship in the state compared to some other states around. I'm still going to come to you with this question because you are somebody who is, a political genius himself, one who has made a lot of contributions.
I'm flattered.
To the shoes of any politician. Given the state of imbalance economically, I mean, it is sad to hear that, pump price is selling at certain rates different from some other states. Somebody just said on Facebook just now to say prices of building materials is higher in Edo State than in other states. What do you think the governor should do to help ameliorate the sufferings of Edo people in line with this, economic hardship right now, as compared to other states around Edo State?
The governor at this point in question is very busy, and the issue of scarcity cannot be addressed by the governor single-handedly because he hasn't got that capacity. What he can do and should do is to bring all parties around the table and say, where do we go from here? Edo State economy is not that upright in the sense that there's not much happening in Edo State economically. He is doing a lot to say move Edo forward, but it has to be a case of the small business people are doing something, but the state cannot honestly do anything to push the matter beyond the point of pure enabling environment for people to come and do business. In Edo State, you need to move forward from that and check the tax system and see if it's what you can give incentive to people to come to Edo State, because the issue of fuel is not government, it's not a government product. The government cannot change anything. It's coming from federal. But what Edo State can do and should do quickly is to revisit infrastructures on ground, like the market environment, revisit that, more people will come in. The issue of products, the government can give soft loan to traders. That also will go a long way. But right now in Nigeria, it's a problem that cut across the federation. What Edo State can do, what the governor should be thinking about, is set up an economic team, open economic team, where those industries that has to do with food, services is given priority, because that is where the first money drops, because on daily basis, people use those services, apply those services. When you finish with that, you now come back to the real bigger picture. The bigger picture is how many companies can employ people in Edo State. What do we do to leverage them? Do we give them tax incentive over a period of time? Do we give them guarantees to say, well, if you're in Edo State employing over 100 people, this is what you get. If you're in Edo State over 500 people, this is what you get. It's a good system that works. It's purely on demand and supply. If you go to Dubai, they have economic zones. In Dubai, if you're a British national, there's discounts you get for doing businesses there. If even in the UK, the same thing. There's the deliberate policies the government can do, but they can't trigger that now because there's no indexes to really work with. But the government, yes, have enumerated some figures, but I don't know how far they've gone with it. And it is those sort of figures you can use to approach industrialists to say, come to my state and do something for our people. And at that point, you can tie employment to investment, like the Indians are doing in the UK. They bring in their money, open industry, they get tax incentive based on the number of people they are employing, based on the job. If that thinking sails through, the government at that time comes in and say it's too big to fail, and then they go for bailout. But we are not at that level at the moment. Obaseki cannot be blamed for the economic downturn at the moment because he hasn't got the power. It's the governor, is true, but he's not the governor who can override federal government on so many issues. What will make Edo State great is on this federal government exclusive list. And if you don't remove them, Obaseki's job at that time will be to seek the understanding of what the little economic base he has in Edo State and expand. But he has a magic wand. Bring in the Edo diasporas as investors, recognize them, and you will see the employment rate will be up, because the Edo diasporas, when they open businesses, they are able to pay more than the government. They are not going to pay federal government 25 or 30,000 naira per every month, but they could do it in a way where Edo diasporans that have money, a lot of Edo diasporans, they are economically okay, because if you look at the age bracket of Edo diasporans, 50 and above, that means they are itching towards retirement. Then if the state is safe, they can now start thinking of relocating. And I think they are doing something well, because the last meeting that has to do with the security issue, they took every advice, and honestly, first time I will see a government actually listening to diaspora people. I was in that meeting, and I think they did very well. Edo State don't need to panic about the economic issue. They only need to stabilize the environment and encourage their own diasporans that have left to come back home, and those people have goodwill to influence a lot of things. Their main fear was security. By the grace of God, that is coming under control. The next thing is due process. If the pump price is different and it's official pump price, there's no problem. But if it's deliberately been inflated and it is not in line with the regulated price, there is a problem. And at that point, the state can now intervene and do something. But for now, in the next foreseeable future, it's going to be worth thinking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That's very incisive. I want to come to Loretta quickly. Dr. Loretta, Nigeria is imploding. You know, when we look at the level of insecurity. As a matter of fact, between day before yesterday and today, across different states of the eastern region, a lot has been happening. As a matter of fact, down to Delta State, you know, broad daylight. I mean, there is this now that is something that is trending now on what's it called, internet, on the internet space. They call them unknown phases. Okay, a lot of havoc is taking place. Different regions and different states are being made ungovernable. And we know that in Edo State, the governor of Edo State has done very much to arrest the level of insecurity we had sometime, you know, not too long ago in Edo State. Given what is happening now around Edo State, particularly in the eastern region, the thing is now sweeping to Delta State, as it were. And of course, we have begun to see pockets of small things here and there in Edo State being reported. What do you think going forward that the governor should do to ensure that the level of calm we have right now in Edo State is of course maintained? Dr. Loretta, please.
The issue of security, I like the way you started your question. It's a national issue because initially people were getting it wrong and thinking it was just an Edo State issue. It's a problem in the entire country, Nigeria. And Edo State cannot be different from what's happening within the country. Now, once you get that into perspective, we then zone into the home state. The governor has put a lot of security measures in place. At the last town hall e-meeting where he was attending with the transition committee, he actually itemized some things that they had done, and obviously security is not what you put into public space as to what's going on. But we've seen the emergence of the vigilante group, albeit with some of the shortfalls or some of the glitches, but that's okay, because the important thing when you pilot a project is to learn from the mistakes and then how to fix it. And we can see that a man like Haruna, who is at the helm of that angle, is actually learning from some of the glitches and how to fix it. Now, moving forward, a lot of Edo State people across the world are keen to see that security, it doesn't just stop where it is right now, and they're keen to help. And the governor also directed them that if they want to do that, there are formal ways to do that, and they should contact people like Haruna, and that there is a formal security trust fund where they can plug into with their resources. And this is something we need to consider, because it's time we start asking what we can do for our state and not just what our state can do for us. And I'm glad to see that many people across the world, not just the diaspora, even within Nigeria, are really beginning to think that way. On the part of the government thing, I think one thing they can do to sustain the gains we've had is to now create a formal training pathway for the vigilante. There was one very good thing they did, which is that the community itself identifies and puts forth the people who they want to be members of the vigilante. Now, we should take this a step further and create standard education. And when I say education, I'm not saying a paper and biro education and certificate, no, but training as to how these people can manage the space wherein they are operating. Because I've heard recently of how rude some of them can be and how vile some of them can be. Obviously, it's not all of them. And when we have a crate of eggs, most likely there can be a bad one. In every 12, there can be a Judas. And how some of them are beginning to overexploit the little powers they've been given. But I still maintain that if these people are subjected to proper training and continuous monitoring, mark the word, continuous monitoring. So proper training in the sense that they are taught how to address people. The mere fact that you are vigilante does not mean you want to correct someone and you have to be screaming, shouting, or even beating them up when you've not proven whatever it is you think they're about to do. It also would be necessary to train them to interface with other agents of security and other force that exist in the state, i.e. the police and all of that. The reason is, if you don't train these people now, we're going to run into problems later. And it's simple to train people in this kind of setup. People may think it's very cost intensive. No, let's make it, I would suggest, let's make it training the trainers. We use that a lot in medicine and it's going to work. Because when I have trained the first batch then trains the next batch. And before you know it, they are actually training themselves. And it begins to trickle down. This is very important moving forward and getting a handle on security in our state. It is so, so important. The other thing is that we should all see security as our own. What I'm finding is that people think, oh, not their own, they need to secure the state. No, it belongs to all of us. So that huge step that was taken to make it community owned should also be further propagated by the leaders in the community. What do I mean? From the traditional rulers to the street leads, all the Odionweres and the rest. They should constantly find a way to meet with these people, the vigilantes that are already there and the potential ones, periodically, and then tell them that you are doing well. Someone in the street can decide this Saturday. When I was growing up, we used to have people, the street say every month. Somebody will say, when I say Ude, I mean something akin to this local vigilante. Somebody will say, we are going to cook for them this month. I'm going to take that cost. And this encourages the people. So even the women who go to market, who are not necessarily carrying the baton and doing the vigilante, they cook and they encourage these people. These are things we should all seek to do. And then when I say constant monitoring, before I round up, for everybody who has been recruited, the fact that I'm smiling just now does not mean I'm going to keep smiling in another 2 hours. So the fact that today you have screened me and I have been found worthy to be part of the vigilante does not mean that I should not be screened again at intervals. So what I'm proffering or suggesting here is that the lead of this vigilante finds some sort of standards every 6 months or every 6 months to actually tick their box and say, oh, you are still okay to carry on with this function. And those may be, oh, in the last 3 months, have there been reports about them? In the last 3 months, the number of things we give to them, has it diminished and they can't account for it? You know, those kind of things will keep you in good stead, more like continued professional good stead to practice the vigilante work. I mean, with all of these small measures, we can continue to heap in and reap on the gains that we have made so far. But suffice it to say that everybody has commented on issues bordering on what the opposition should do now. Before I just finish on this note, I just want to proffer that we should look at Edo State now like the story of Solomon. You see, those 2 women came to Solomon with 1 baby. Edo State is that baby. Okay, it belongs to all of us. And there's no use dividing that child. We need to keep that child. We need to nurture that child. The simple story of Solomon just tells us what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Loretta Uboroko. I think that was very incisive and very honest. As a matter of fact, Clifford of Facebook says, God bless you, Loretta, on your brilliant ideas regarding Edo security network management. And of course, I equally have right on YouTube, Coca Ns. It says Edo people should keep close eyes on, his opinion on Igbos in Edo State to keep Edo State safe from unknown gunmen of, that's his own opinion.
I would beg to differ. I would beg to differ with that comment, comrade.
Yeah.
Comrade, I beg to differ with that comment.
Yes.
I beg to nullify it right now. All people of all tribes that are positive thinking and positive adding are welcome in Edo State. There should be no stereotypes in life. You don't judge books by the cover. You don't label people by tribes.
I agree with you most tenaciously. And
our governor has proven that he's not just a man of the state or the country. He's an international asset.
Absolutely.
So please.
Absolutely. I agree with you with that. And of course, I equally have Moses Edok, but of course, Moses was actually, borrowing a leaf from, the submission of Chief Musa Amedo, and he said apprenticeship should be encouraged in Edo State. Employers should be given incentives to take young people on. That's a contribution from Moses Edokbolo. Now, going forward, I want to go quickly to my brother Iremira. Former Sister Iremira, we have an issue, and it's an issue of huge complaint. We are grateful to God and happy, thanking the governor of Edo State who has taken on a Kenwa Road dualization, and work is going on. We can see the fruit of what is happening there, and it's beautiful. But there are so many other roads across Edo State that people are complaining of. Personally, I've taken a look around the entire state, and I know that even if government decides to commit all resources that come to Edo State on a monthly basis for the next 4 years, all roads in Edo State will not be good if they decide to commit all the resources to road construction and all of that. From your perspective, and actually borrowing a leaf from the submission of Musa Amendu, when he said that all hands must be on deck to now support the government to move Edo State forward, in what way do you think all hands should actually be on deck to join government to ensure that roads are improved in Edo State and economic activities are, further improved as a result of that?
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. I think Chief Musa Amedu dealt with that correctly. I think all hands should be on deck on virtually everything that matters to us. Virtually everything, because what has happened, like Loretta would always say, there is a detachment of the people from government. So we then need to take ownership, even on security, on road construction, even as little as you putting debt on the gutters, such making roads to be unmotorable. Market woman will finish and put their waste on the gutter. That again is a big problem. And we need to change. We need to change everything that we do. We need to look at ourselves first before holding other people accountable. There are very little things we can do. She mentioned the idea of vigilante just now. I remember those days we used to come out and clear our roads, clear our gutters, and make the road a bit motorable and allow erosion, water to flow properly. So there is a lot that needs to be done. You can argue that the people have become so disenchanted and feeling irrelevant because of what has happened with subsequent government. But I believe with the Obaseki government listening to us and carrying people along, people may now begin to reawaken that spirit of togetherness, that spirit of oneness and wanting to do things. Even opening the window and spitting on the road is very uncivilized. So there is a lot we can do together, even by way of giving information to the relevant authority. Citizens, people of Edo State can do that as well. So cooperation is needed right now. And like Loretta said, that child should not be divided. Not only from Pastor Ezeyamu, from common citizens like me and you on the road. Whatever we do, we should put Edo State first. And before long, our state again will come back to normal. I remember growing up where you do something wrong outside, you are taken to your father's house for admonishment. Your father will support that person that has brought you to his house, and they will thank the person and deal with you squarely. But this is fast eroding. It started like something little, is becoming very, very big, very, very wide. We all focus on our own. So there is a lot we can do, starting from clearing the road. Even when construction is going on, we stay there to monitor to see that it's done properly. And I appeal to the government to create and establish an agency where feedback from citizens can go directly to them. So on your question, there is so much and there's so many examples to do. Security is a big problem. I want to end with this. I think a few hours ago, Pastor Uyunosa was on air, and he was talking of this cattle rearing and all that stuff. And I found out that, I don't know if it's correct, but just quoting him, that Bob Iswa has a very strong partnership with those involved with cow business. And because of that, he has not spoken at all. There's evidence that he has gone to the north to get chieftaincy title. I think that video was calling on him to speak. Even though cow business is what you use, you should also be careful that people are not killed. So things like that. If we are involved in all this business, let us speak the truth to power. Let us try to do what is right. Ambassador Matthew Bikiwafo talked about these fuel prices. People just want to hike the fuel price and make quick gains, not at the expense of the governor and the government, but at the expense of fellow citizens. And that is causing more problems. So there should be togetherness and a willingness for all of us to work together and move those states forward. So the support from citizens is on many fronts. Nothing is too small, nothing is too big.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you so very much. Of course, we have a lot of interaction on Facebook and on YouTube. Samuel Daniel Aziegbe is very much interested in waste management. He's suggesting that it's important to provide waste buses all around the state, for the management of waste. And that is actually speaking from, from Facebook. That's from, Samuel Daniel Aziegbe, and all that. I want to quickly move on to my brother, Dr. Agbons. Dr. Agbons, governance is about, the economy of the people. Governance is about making life better for the people. Today, there's already the complaint that Edo State, and indeed where other parts of Nigeria are going to start experiencing some level of food, shortages as it were, and all of that. And of course, government and everybody recognize the power of the Edo diaspora community and how much they can impact positively on the states. Now, agriculture, when I was growing up, I was told that agriculture employs all. Today, we are glad that the Ibiki is in Edo State right now, massive agriculture and all of that from his own end. How well do you think that, Edo diaspora community, should do to show interest in the area of agriculture? And how much do you think government can do to encourage the Edo diaspora community that are willing and ready to come and invest in Edo State? Dr. Agbons.
Thank you, my brother, Comrade Lamte, for your question. But before I answer your question on agriculture, I just want to tee off a little bit and put some footnotes on some of the things that my brothers and my sister Loretta have said.
Right.
Two things: information management. I'm a great student of the Bible, and in the book of Hosea chapter 4 verse 1, the Bible says in King James Version, it said, "And my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." So I want to paraphrase this. People get deformed when they are not informed. Very important. The machinery of information of Edo State government, people who are working there, they need to wake up. They really need to wake up and be very proactive. And because, like Austin just said now, I think Loretta mentioned it as well, there has been a disconnect between the governed and those governing over the years. There's a lot of mistrust because of bad governance and maladministration. So this government is doing a lot. I also went to Nigeria, I just came back. So I did Comrade, like I told you, I did a lot of videos, some of which I'll bring to this program later. So there's a lot going on, not just in Benin City, but all across Edo State. But nobody is aware. Nobody is being told. So those that are managing the communication and information aspect of this Edo State government, they need to wake up. If they don't know what they are doing, then they need to give time to other people who know what to do, because there's no information. So when people are not informed, that is when rumor, them say, they come in. Because a lot of our people are, the psyche of our people, there is being damaged now because of lack of proper communication. So that is on one side. So number two is our values as a people. You see, this animal farm mentality, which High Chief Amedu alluded to, that people just want to grab all this union for tomatoes and yam and gari. Look, they always say it that you see wealthy people, rich people, they know how to look after themselves. So it is the people in the lower cadre of society that they always like, they want to eat each other up. They eat each other. So our people, the citizenship, we need to look after ourselves. You don't need to bring hardship on your fellow brother and sister to make it. This has not taken us anywhere. So we need to redefine that, our values of being our brother's keeper. So that being said, my brother, let me just quickly answer your question now. Agriculture is an old-time profession that does not fail anybody. And I must tell you, I've been talking with a lot of Edo sons and daughters, not just those living abroad, even those in Nigeria, some in Abuja, Lagos, in Kaduna, and all those other places. A lot of them, because of the goodwill that our governor enjoys, they see, they trust him, they trust his policies. A lot of them are willing to come. I think it is the security situation that has been the kind of, creating fear in the mind of people. Like when I traveled to Nigeria, people were like, so you go Nigeria? How the place be? This, I said, look, it's fine, but just that you still need to watch your back a little bit and manage certain things. So it's just once that security thing, and thank God that the vigilante has come in, there's been calm in the state. So people, we all need to really look back. The days of white collar jobs are far gone. Everybody needs to know that the days of white collar jobs are done. Like I was very happy now, seeing Ambassador Biki in front of his cassava. These are cassava he planted in February, and we are just in the ending of May. See how grown up they are. So we all need to go back to agriculture. Look, we talk of the north. Look at the shakara they are making now. The other day, simple issue, they stopped goods coming to the south. So look, we are talking about Nigeria. They do a lot of farming. So we need to go back to that agriculture which we're known for. We have arable land. Edo is blessed with land. So we need to really go back. This is not about, try to be proud, try to be arrogant. Farming is not an equation to poverty. It is not. It is an age-old profession. The Holland, they are known for farming. New Zealand, they are known for farming. Most of these European countries, it's agriculture. The Americans, it's agriculture. So we need to really go back to it.
Thank you very much. We've come to, of course, the end of this particular program. I'm just going to give,
Comrade,
90 seconds
Comrade, please, before we round up, there's something very pertinent on the chat. I just saw it. And I just think that it should be addressed, because I don't want people thinking that their questions are being left out for a reason, either to protect the government or because maybe it's a government-sponsored show, which it is not. Imade Johnson wrote and said, our Edo State citizens are dying of cardiac arrest every day as a result of no place for physical exercise because there are no parks and no space to exercise in. What is our government doing about it? And I just want to say to Imade Johnson that your comment is valid. However, I want to tackle it from the way my father taught me to tackle everything, because I am my father's daughter. And the question is, I said, those state people across the world, over 5 million of us, and the rest we've not even accounted for across the world. What are our own values? What value do you place on exercise first and foremost? What value do you place on diet? And I'll tell you, Imade, please, please, and as I will tell everybody else, let's break the solution into this, or to this, into self, that's us, and external. And under self, you're going to have the things I've talked about. What do you eat? Are you eating apple 3 times a day and you say it's the cheapest form, forgetting that beans is also cheap and you could eat that? And then what is your own simple activity? Are you jumping on bus when you can easily work somewhere? And what is your cleanliness level? Because the Benin Museum, that garden around it, recently Umagbane Done went to do a prayer ministry a few months ago. It was so dirty. The dustbins were not being used in that place. Rather, we, Edo State people, we are littering the place. What is our attitude to cleanliness? Before you start asking the government, and I'm not excluding the government does need to take care of security. Because if there is no proper security, even if you have the finest park, nobody is going to go and jog in it. And they also need to push and promote primary health care. And primary health care is what is going to help you manage your diet and help you overhaul your lifestyle. Pidgin English jingles in all the languages in Edo State. So please, it's not just enough. And this is what we are all saying here. And Imade Johnson, don't think I'm singling you out. No, it is because your question is a poster child. It's a poster question for us to stop just throwing random questions without first seeking to find out what we as individuals can do to make a change. Our market women, I used to follow my mom to the market and I see what they eat. They actually eat everything that goes past. No, translated, anybody selling rice, come. Come. We first of all need to overhaul our own health attitude, not just packs. And obviously, the government does have a huge role to play, but the takeaway message is that we as individuals, we do have a lot to do with whatever happens to us, singularly and collectively. Thank you, Made John.
Yes, as always, Dr. Loretta, because we have come to, I wish time we allow us more, you know, but we've come to the end of the program, but not without going around, so that we just have 90 seconds of recap, you know, whatever we want to add. And I want to start from, you know, His Excellency Ambassador Matthew Biki Waifu. Sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Because I'm giving 90 seconds, I will go about my contributions very fast. Number one, I keep getting pissed off. I'm sorry to use that word. When people keep talking about the security situation in Edo State, even as at May. Look, the lazy man blames his tools. Edo State is stable now as it has ever been. I grew up in Edo State. Insecurity has always been there. There was the time of Kokobioko. There was the time of Obokege. There was the time of Anini. It has always been there. And I must assure everybody in the diaspora right now that Edo State has never been more stable. I happen to know this because I am unofficially appointed. I'm not appointed by the government. I appointed myself officially to contribute to the security of Edo State in my own way. And I can tell you that Edo is secure. If you shoot a gun in any environment right now, throughout Edo State, 5 minutes, the vigilante in that locality are around you. And immediately they are phoning other vigilantes in the environment to come. And as for people are saying that vigilantes, some are unruly, some are this. Have you ever been to Edo State? If you've been to Edo State and drive on the streets, that's why I said people believe in chaos for so long and indiscipline that they now believe it's a way of life. Imagine a driver will be driving and it will be wrong. It will not obey traffic routes. And Obaseki police will be talking to them. And you witness a citizen slapping the police, and he's the one that is wrong. Our people are so unruly. That is why I said we need a mind change. We need a change of mindset. The change begins from us. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. It never said, love your neighbor more than yourself. So you must love yourself first before you can love your neighbor. So our people, the change starts from you. Start changing your lifestyle. Start obeying the rules. After having said that, I must equally say quickly that agriculture is the way to go. I walk the talk. Like I said, I'm speaking from my cassava farm. There are other projects I'm involved in right now, and it all has to do with agriculture. Government has already provided the enabling environment. And agriculture right now, and Africa right now, is the only place that you can make stupendous profits, which you cannot believe. That's why the Chinese are invading Africa. That's why the Europeans are here. Our people should forget about security and face and invest in their own state. And please, I want to say this to the diaspora because I'm on the ground. You people better make haste to invest in your state. Otherwise, by this time next year, now another story with the talk. So many people are lined up. They are not talking about security. And some of them are not from our state. Finally, I want to just thank everybody on this forum for speaking their mind. This is not a government forum. The government is not paying anybody here. No, it's the government paying for this program. We love Edo State, and our passion for Edo State is undying. Finally, I wish to say this, and I always say it. Governor Obaseki is a human being. He's not perfect. He can make mistakes. Only God is perfect. No human being was perfect, is perfect, and will ever be perfect. Let's get that into our own heads. And please, let's contribute. Let's stop pointing fingers. If you want to invest, come and invest. If you know you don't want to invest, don't discourage others from investing. Thank you for listening to me. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Matthew Biki-Wifo. As always, very insightful, very meaningful, very powerful. Thank you so much. Yes, let me quickly switch on to High Chief Musa Amedu. Sir, just a recap, 90 seconds.
I think we are in a state of happiness now. We are also in a state of moving forward, and God will protect and bless Obaseki and Philip Shaibu. And we are going to have a new Edo State where we diasporas will have a genuine voice to change the state for the better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, I will move on from there to this time to Dr. Tony Agbons. Erika.
For me, I want to just let all Edolites know that power is divinely given. And I will end with this word. I will end my talk by saying that it's a quote from Max Dupree. He said, "We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are." I'll repeat it. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. Let us work together with this state government and move our state forward.
Thank you very much. That's a beautiful one. We can't become what we want by remaining what we are. Beautiful, beautiful. I like that. Yes, Austin Iremira, 90 seconds, recap.
Thank you so much, my brother, Comrade Lamte. I just want to congratulate Edo State once again, and to urge our citizens that if we must get the Edo State that we like, all hands must be on deck.
Thank you, sir. That's a beautiful one, short and beautiful. And of course, the last but not the least, the lady of the jury, the associate musketeer of the Comrade show. And of course, that is not other but Dr. Loretta Oduware Uboroko. Beautiful lady.
Lamte, and I want to thank all you gentlemen, and especially the sacrifice that you people take to to do this every Sunday. I marvel at it. I've never seen such patriotism displayed and such love for one's state. So I really doff my hat to all of you on the Comrade show. I just want to end by saying, I'll borrow the words of Bobby Obayuwa, and I was reading recently where he wrote, he said, Obaseki and Shuaibu's countless victories are a testament of God's divine mandate over Edo State and her people. And I cannot agree more with the young man. You know, some things are divinely ordained and there's not much we can do about it. On this note, I actually am congratulating the governor, the deputy, and the rest of their team for a well-deserved victory. But more importantly, I am congratulating the followership that has emerged from Edo State, not just within the state, but across the world. You know, we are blazing a trail. We are recalibrating the metrics of democracy, not just in Edo State. I keep saying it, and not just in Nigeria, but in the continent as a whole. And I'm not surprised because we are a long race of very vibrant people. We could not have done business with the Portuguese in all those many years ago. And you're telling me that we do not have that vibrancy that makes the difference. Now, today, I am asking us to sustain that vibrancy and make sure that we all make Edo State great again in our own niches, starting from our families. When a child comes home with a Lexus Jeep, you know they've not worked for. Daddy and mommy, please ask, where is it from? Fathers, don't start packaging your children and mothers to Italy. You know, these are small things we can do to make that state great again. I'm not always keep saying, oh, where's Obaseki, where's Obaseki, where's Obaseki? And those of us in the diaspora, we should learn that we have a lot to add, but we need to do it in standard fashion, like it obtains in the diaspora. We don't need to go home and start driving on the wrong side of the road. And when they stop you, say, what do you mean? I just came from Germany with my Lexus. It's wrong. What you don't do in the UK or in Germany, you shouldn't want to do in Edo State. So thank you very much, our listeners. Thank you, everyone. And hopefully see you again very soon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Loretta Ogborokon. Obama famously did say, when imagination is joined to common purpose, everyone will truly have a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness. Edo people and Nigerians across the world, I want to thank you for being part of this process. I want to thank all the participants we had on this program from Facebook and YouTube. You guys were all part of this whole process. And of course, huge kudos goes to our people, the panelists for today. You guys have done a wonderful job, but we cannot end this program, if we don't end by saying a very big congratulations to the governor and the people of Edo State. And of course, like I would always say, the judgment at the level of the Supreme Court is one that guarantees stability, guarantees continuity in a very stable manner, and that guarantees peace and progress in Edo State. And of course, as Daddy BK said, let's be confident, Edo State is safe. As a matter of fact, some of us can say that Edo State is probably the safest state in Nigeria today. And the governor and those working with the governor, they are doing a lot to ensure that the security level in Edo State and all the things that the government has put in place, they are consolidated on in such a way that whatever happens elsewhere, Edo State will remain safe. So let's come home, let's invest, let's join the government and the governor of Edo State to build Edo State, to realize the mega agenda and make Edo State truly a beautiful place for all of us. That at the end of the day, the Edo dream will become a huge reality. My name is Comrade Lamte Oriaki. It's been the Comrade Show, and of course, the segment we call the Comrade and Friends, the Sunday Tonic. We'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
Okay, bye.
Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Lamte Oriaki. Live on